Well, hello and welcome once again to the DCL podcast, where we're inviting you to sit back, relax, and we'll be on our way shortly. Well, welcome back to the DCL podcast, and I'm excited to stay on the West Coast, head back down to California, and welcome a good friend of the show, Chris, back to the show. How are you doing today, Chris?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Not too bad. Thanks for coming on. And, we've been talking a lot about Alaska and the Mediterranean for the last couple months. And I was really excited when you guys went back to the Caribbean on your last cruise. And I thought it'd be fun to bring you back on and talk about your experience in the Caribbean, because we haven't touched on the Caribbean here for quite a while.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So when did you guys cruise? And this one's kind of one of those bucket list cruises I think that everybody would like to do. Why don't you tell everybody which one you did this time?
We did the June 6th on the Dream, and it was one of the double dip that goes to Castaway twice.
And you guys had done that before, right?
Yes, we did the same cruise last year, actually.
Okay. Now, is this something that's going to be like an every year kind of thing? Because I know you're a big fan of Castaway Cay.
Yeah, the kids love it. I love it. The only thing stopping us next year is we're going to the Mediterranean, but I think in 2020 we'll be back at the double dip for the June again.
Okay. And what about this cruise makes it so special? Is it that time in Castaway Cay? Is it being on the Dream, or what do you guys really like about it?
Just the time in Castaway Cay. Since you're going there 2 days, you don't feel as rushed, and it's more leisurely, and it just seems more enjoyable, especially since most cruises, their last day is Castaway Cay. So this cruise, you have that first day, it's like, I still have 2 more days on the ship. Mm-hmm. So it makes it kind of fun. Okay, so let's talk about it. So you guys fly out to Orlando, and remind me, do you guys stay at the hotel at the airport? Yeah, so it varies, but this time we did stay at the Hyatt there at the airport. It works out really good. Coming from California, we take a flight that lands at 9 o'clock at night or something, and just go straight to the airport there, or the hotel there at the airport, and it makes it real easy. Okay. And so then you guys start off your first day. You're on the Dream. You've been on the Dream. I forget how many cruises you've been on. I think this was our 6th cruise on the Dream.
Okay, 6th cruise on the Dream. And what did you guys book this time as far as cabins go?
So we had a concierge, 1 bedroom, and the adjoining family room, stateroom. So we had 12506 and 12508, and there was 5 of us. We took my daughter's friend again this year too.
Okay, so how does that work? So did they have the bedroom by themselves, the one that's attached, or how does that work? Yeah,
so we gave the kids had the smaller room to themselves, and me and my wife had the 1 bedroom.
Okay, and once again, going concierge, which I have not yet had the opportunity to do that, but hopefully someday soon. You guys, that kind of gives you some additional services for booking ahead of time. What were you guys able to book ahead of time to prepare for this cruise?
Well, the biggest thing is we were able to get a cabana for both days. So that's the biggest. And then a few nights Apollo for dinner. I think we did the jet skis a couple times on the island, and that was about it, I think. Sports simulator, a few other random things. Nothing too exciting.
Okay, but the big thing being able to get those cabanas on both. Now, which cabanas do you guys like?
We like the lower number ones. We had number 3 this time. I think 4 through 7 are our favorites. And they're nice because they're close to Cookies too, right there, and close to the bathrooms. And
well, that's awesome. So you guys get your cabana set for your time at Castaway Cay. You've got your dinners at Palo set. Did you have any thoughts about going to Remy this time?
We looked at the menu, and it just doesn't really fit us. And so out of the 4 nights, we actually went to Palo 3 nights.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that here in just a second. So, okay, so you guys get into Port Canaveral the next day. You guys usually book your own personal car to get down to Port Canaveral, correct?
Yes, we use Mears Transportation. We always use the same driver. So this time we left the hotel at 9:45. My daughter always wants to be the first one there, so we're actually one of the first ones there this time, so she was excited.
Nice. So, and then once you're concierge as well, you guys have a separate, and I haven't left from Port Canaveral yet, there's a separate waiting area for concierge, I guess, along with, is it Platinum also that can come in the same place?
Correct. There's like a little corral. So, and we always take private transportation. And so we learned something this time that we didn't know in our previous 7 cruises out of there. When you have to, give your ID, you check in, and you cross the street, and they have the security, and there's always a line with 200-300 people in it. And I always tell the kids, go to the other side. There's a second line. Remember, it usually has 20-30 people in it. And when we walked over there, a security guard said there's also a line over here, which I've never seen because it's for the buses usually, but there's no buses. It was so early. There was nobody in that security. So we got through security, We got checked in and in the special corral for the concierge and platinum within 10 minutes of getting there.
Wow. So good tips there as far as if there's no buses there and you're that early, go over to where the bus line is and avoid the big crowd where everybody's kind of gathered around, huh?
Correct. I mean, there was literally 4 security people there, like waiting for someone to come through.
That's awesome. So when you're in that separate corral, do they offer anything there while you're in the corral? Like, do they have like snacks or anything like that? Or is it just kind of a waiting area?
It's just kind of a waiting area. I think they might have like some water or something. And so I think by the time we got in there, it was probably 11 o'clock, and we weren't in there 10 minutes, and the concierge came in like through a side door and said, we're going to start boarding you guys. By that time, there's probably 4 or 5 families in there. Mm-hmm. And so they immediately boarded us. It was great.
Okay. So you go up there, you head into the concierge lounge, and that's kind of when you meet the concierge people that are going to be working your cruise. How does that kind of work? Do they just go family by family, or how does that work, I guess?
Yeah, so this time they also offered us a sit-down lunch, which was in Royal Palace, I believe, or go to the lounge. They're trying to free up because so many people hit the lounge at once. So I figured some people are going to take advantage of lunch. Well, let's go to the lounge. So you go to the lounge, and you sit down. There's usually 2 or 3 concierge hosts kind of working, and they'll see you, and they'll come out. They actually recognized us, so they knew who we were. So they come over with a folder, and they'll just sit down with you for 10, 15 minutes going over all the stuff you booked, see if you want to book anything else, kind of if you have any questions and any other concerns, and kind of get you all situated. And then they have a lunch there. It's small sandwiches and little salads and, hors d'oeuvre type stuff. And then after that, your room's usually, I think at 11:30 we're in our room.
Wow, that's pretty quick. So in the room, you kind of get you settled. Any thoughts on the room this time? You guys have been up there before.
It was the same room we usually always book, so it was like being at home, so nothing different there.
Yeah, they almost need to put your name on the nameplate on that door. That's awesome. Okay, so you guys have been on the Dream several times. What are some of the things that, like, you and your daughter and she was bringing a friend? Had her friend been on Disney Cruise Line before?
So actually, her friend came with us last year. So last year we were 3 weeks out when we added her. So this year we were 2 months out, and I asked my wife, "Are we bringing Riley? Because if we are, I need to book the fast passes for Disney World tomorrow." So my wife started texting her mom, and then within about 10 minutes, everything squared away, and she was coming with us.
Wow, that's awesome. So what were some of the things that you guys, when you're on the Dream, what are some of the things that you look forward to doing over the course of your time on the ship?
One thing, me and my son usually go catch a movie, and the girls they got there. They wanted to go check out the Vibe, so I went down there with them. They have the kid in the Vibe. They have to swap their key cards for a black one. Oh. So the Vibe personnel recognize when they walk in. They want them in the lanyard so they can see that they're supposed to be there. So we did the key card swapping, and they were pretty much on their own. And my son, he went to the Edge, and he made a couple friends immediately. So I just kind of wandered around the ship while my wife was unpacking the first day.
Okay, so that's the first time I've heard of that with the Vibe. Did they do that with the Edge too, as far as on the Dream, changing the key cards around?
No, the Edge, they get a little sticker they put on there, and the Vibe used to give you an option of the sticker because my daughter likes to keep her gold key card, so at the last night of the cruise, they'll save them for you and you swap them back.
Okay, yeah, that's what my son got this last time on the Magic, was they got like a little sticker when he went into the Edge too. So I hadn't heard that they did that when you do the Vibe, so... But then the key card still works to buy things and to get your room and everything?
They just reprint your key card, and it's black, and it says Vibe, I think pink or goldish letters or something. Okay. But it makes it really hard to read the stuff on, too, because it's a black card.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, so it becomes her Key to the World card, and then she just swaps it back the last night to get her gold card back. Okay.
Well, since we're talking about the kids clubs, was there anything that stood out for your daughter, anything that they really like to do up in the Vibe or your son at the Edge this time?
Well, the Vibe on the Dream and the Fantasy has their own little outside deck with a little pool and stuff. Mm-hmm. So they really like hanging out there. And I don't think there's anything new. They have like a smoothie bar or something. It's a cool place to go. I went to the first day and I went with them. It's really a cool place, to look for kids to hang out. There's a lot of TVs. I think there may be Xboxes or something. Where I know the Edge, my son gets mad because they only have Wii's and they only have like Mario Kart.
Yeah, that's my son too. Everybody was hoping for Fortnite, but no Fortnite. So
no, my son was not happy with that. So.
Yeah. How big is the Edge on the bigger ships? Is it a fairly big space, or do you know?
Yeah. It's a pretty good sized space. It's in the forward funnel. Mm-hmm. up there, I think deck 13, and it's a pretty good sized space. It has a couple like little side rooms off to it that have like where the TVs are, the video games, some like maybe some bean bags or something.
Okay.
And it has like a light up kind of floor thing in the center.
Okay. Yeah, like a dance floor.
That's Edge, and then Vibe is a really big space.
I've heard that Vibe's quite a bit bigger than the Edge. So I knew it was bigger on the bigger ships. I just wasn't sure how much more bigger. So it sounds like it's a much bigger space for the kids on the bigger ships.
It's a pretty decent space, but the Vibe's a lot bigger.
Okay.
But the Vibe's in a very odd location to get to. You go on deck 4 where the running path is, and you go in the front of the ship like you're on the running path, and then you go up a flight of stairs. It's kind of in a more industrial area of the ship when you're going back there.
Oh, okay. So that's why they get this separate space for the pool and everything back there.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. I think that's where... I'm trying to remember now. When I was on the Wonder the very first time, the Edge of the Vibe was way down in deck 2 or something like that. It was kind of like the same thing, and they've since moved it up to the top part of the funnel. But I digress a little bit. So, hey, what movie did you guys get to go see? And what was new that was out?
That's the sad part. We planned on seeing Solo. We actually, a week before the cruise, we're going to go to the movies, and I said, do you want to see Solo or wait for that for the ship, and we'll go see Deadpool. So we went and saw Deadpool. We never got to see Solo. It was playing like 11 o'clock one night. The next day it was playing like at 3 in the afternoon, and me and my wife had a massage scheduled. The next day it was playing when we were at Castaway or something. We never saw it.
Oh, no. Was Incredibles 2 out yet? I think that came out.
No, it wasn't. It was a few weeks later.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So Solo was the newest movie at the time.
Okay. What did you guys get to see then, since you didn't see Solo?
We watched part of Avengers one day.
Okay.
Infinity War.
I still haven't seen that yet. I need to see my son has seen it, but my oldest son has seen it. But
so we watched it before, so that was it. But I couldn't believe it after all that. Like we didn't get to watch Solo. I was like, oh
man, yeah, that's kind of a bummer. Yeah, we went and saw Incredibles 2. That was a first run movie that we got to see being on a ship. It was kind of cool to see that. So they had it in the big Buena Vista Theater. Or I'm sorry, the Walt Disney Theater, the great big huge Walt Disney Theater.
They had Solo in that theater one day too, but it was like I think it was a time that just didn't work.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anything else that you guys did around on your time on the ship while you were spending there? Obviously, you went and had a massage. How was that?
It was good. We always try to do something different on each ship they haven't done. So we did the couple's choice in one of the spa villas, which was kind of neat. It has like a little hot tub, and it's open air on the side of the ship there. It's kind of a neat experience.
Did you guys sign up for the rainforest room too?
No, we did not.
Have you done that before, or do you guys like that at all?
I've never done it, so maybe this next trip when we do something different, we'll do that.
Okay. Yeah. Somebody was just talking about that recently. It kind of intrigued me. I've heard it's nicer on the bigger ships than on the smaller ships. Obviously, it's probably more bigger space and whatnot. So maybe sometime next time. So, all right. Well, let's talk about the food. You guys end up going to Palo 3 nights, and so what night did you actually eat in the main dining rooms, and which restaurant did you guys eat at?
So it was Animator's Palette, and it was on Pirate Night. We ate in the main dining room with the kids.
Okay, deal. Is that so they've got Royal Palace, Animator's Palette, Enchanted Garden on board. Is that your favorite of the 3, or do you have an opinion on the 3?
It's probably my favorite. It's my son's favorite for sure. So we scheduled it so they ate there twice in the rotation.
How do you do that? Being a concierge guest, can you do that, or is that something that you do once you get on board the ship? Like, do you do it beforehand, or do you do it ahead of time, I guess?
So I did it beforehand. It's called concierge, and about 2 or 3 weeks out, they'll know the dining rotation, and I'll say, we want to eat there twice, and they'll just change it. So the first night, I think, was Royal Palace, then it went Animators, and then Enchanted Garden. Okay,
so you can kind of set that up ahead. That's kind of a nice deal to do that, because the rest of us is kind of a mystery too. You get on board and you get your key card and you go, oh, okay, I guess this is what we're doing this time.
And so I set it up that way just because Enchanted Gardens are least favorite, so it's like the one night I don't want to eat there probably. So
you guys have a nice meal at Animator's Palette. You do Pirate Night. Anything special with Pirate Night that you guys like to do? Do you guys get all dressed up?
No, not really. When the kids were younger, they were a little bit, but not anymore. So we had dinner, and the kids did some stuff for a while. Then we met back at the room and watched the fireworks from our balcony.
Oh, you can see it from your balcony. That's kind of cool.
Yes, because we're in the 12th floor there on the starboard side, so you get a pretty good view.
That's kind of that's a nice little tip there too, that you can be able to see it. How far down do you think you could go? Is like the 12th floor the lowest you could go, you think, or any thoughts on that?
I think, no, if you have a balcony a couple floors below, I think you still get a pretty good view.
Okay.
I mean, I think we probably saw 95% of everything.
Yeah, I guess because they do shoot it out towards the side, don't they? So if you've got that balcony, you're probably going to get a decent view of it.
One year we went into the concierge sun deck, and you didn't get as good a view there because you're kind of in the middle of the ship there on top, and so some stuff obstructed the view a little bit. So from our balcony, it was pretty good.
Okay. Well, I felt kind of bad because we've never really we've only done 2 pirate nights now, and we didn't really get dressed up for the first one. And this time my youngest really got into it. He really wanted to get dressed up, so we kind of made do with what we had to kind of get him dressed up a little bit. And I promised him next time when we go on the fantasy here next March that I'll get into a little bit more with him. So, but yeah, that's something people definitely get into. But I sort of think that's just like when we did our cruise to Europe. That's like another whole costume you got to bring with. So I don't know.
Yes, we had enough luggage as it was.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, how were your dinners at Palo? Since you've been on the ship so many times, a lot of times it's the same wait staff up there. Do you have a favorite waiter or waitress up there that serves you? Or
we do have a favorite. His name is Misha, and he served us in 2013, 15, 16, 17. And so when we checked in, I asked if he was there, and they said no. And I was like, oh, okay, must have been his schedule off or whatever. And then they gave us another server. And then we found out he was there 2 weeks before us and got hurt and had to go home.
Oh, no.
So the poor guy, his wife was still on the ship, but they had to send him home. He had twisted his ankle really bad, it sounded. He had to go back to Croatia, I believe. Or no, Romania.
Well, hopefully he heals up quick and gets back out to the ship. So, but how were your meals at Palo then?
They were all outstanding. I can't have a bad thing to say about it.
What's your favorite entree, or do you have a favorite one? Or
I usually get a filet.
Okay.
And my wife usually tries something different every night. A lot of times she'll ask for recommendations. She's kind of, she'll trust them. Where I'm a steak person, so it's usually steak. My wife had the fish one night, the one that they debone for you at the table.
Oh, how was that?
She said it was delicious, one of the best ones she ever had. And another night she had a pasta, and I don't remember what she had the third night. And we wanted to do a Apollo brunch, but it was only offered on the second Castaway day. It's like, I'm not going to leave the beach to go eat brunch.
Yeah. See, Apollo brunch, Castaway Cay. I think I'd spend the time at Castaway Cay too. I know I was going to say, I always end up getting the scallops. I like the scallops up there. So
I think my wife had that. That was her third meal, I believe.
Yeah, I need to branch out and try the filet, I guess, or something else next time. So, well, awesome. Anything else you want to talk about the ship today, Chris? I mean, that you guys enjoyed? How about the entertainment? Did you go partake in any of that, or did you see anything not worthwhile, but did you see anything that was new and exciting?
No, we didn't watch any shows. We were just more on the Nassau day. We were real leisurely. The girls did the character meet and greet. They had the tickets for that. My son did the sports simulator a couple times. He really likes doing that.
Let's talk about Nassau first, and then we'll talk about Castaway Cay. So this cruise, you leave. That's day 1. Day 2, you're at Castaway Cay. Day 3, you're in Nassau. Day 4, back to Castaway Cay. And then 5, you're back to Port Canaveral. So
correct.
Let's talk about Nassau. I know you've probably been there a ton of times. Any thoughts on Nassau and what you guys did or what you like to do there?
We treat Nassau as a sea day, so that's when we enjoy the ship when everyone else gets off. We've been there multiple times. Nothing's much changed, so we just hang around the ship. We're on the aqueduct quite a few times and did the sports simulator. And I think that was the day me and my wife got the massage, and that was like a 2.5-hour massage, so that took up a good chunk of the afternoon.
Wow. How many people stay on board when you do a Nassau day? I mean, does it feel like the ship's empty, or what's your kind of guess?
No, I would say it's about 50%. It's still, it doesn't empty out like any other port. I think it's so many people have been to that port. Mm-hmm. So I'd say about 50% of the people leave.
Okay. Just out of curiosity. Any advice for somebody being a first-time cruiser going to Nassau? That's something that you guys did in the past that you might recommend?
The only thing we've done there is just walk around the shops, and that's about it. We've talked about going to Atlantis, getting the day pass, and we end up never doing it.
Okay. Well, that's okay. Well, let's talk about the main reason why you guys wanted to go to, besides being on the ship, is Castaway Cay. So you get to spend 2 days there. You get the same cabana both days? Correct. And so how did you guys spend your time on Castaway Cay? What do you guys like to do?
The first day I did the 5K, and then by the time I finished, the girls were finally up, and my wife and I got them off the ship. That's kind of a job to get 2 16-year-olds up and moving in the morning. And then me and my son had a jet ski booked, which we've never done before. That was our new thing to try on this trip.
Okay, so how does that work? So you And just to go back, she probably had the tougher time of it, getting two 16-year-olds up rather than you running the 5K, huh? As far as
yes, I think so. I think they were out till 1 a.m. the night before in the Vibe. So,
oh man, okay. So how does the jet ski work? That's something once again you can book ahead of time. Did you book it before the cruise?
Yes, I booked it ahead of time and had researched it a little bit. And it gets canceled a lot when the wind picks up and the waves out there get too choppy. So I booked this at 10 o'clock in the morning one. Because a lot of times the ones like 12, 1, and 2, I think get canceled.
Yeah, as the winds pick up as the day goes on. Okay. So how was that?
So it was not what I was expecting at all. When you read the description of it, it sounds like it's kind of a follow the leader, kind of going slow, kind of a tour of the outside the island, kind of blah, blah, blah. So when they give you the safety spiel, they're telling you don't do this, don't do that, don't get too close to this person. As soon as you get out there, it's almost like a free-for-all. It was like, I'm an experienced jet ski rider. I haven't done it in quite a few years, but it was a thrill ride.
So they take you on a tour around part of the island?
So we did it twice. On the first day we did it, we go out past the ship, and we started to go toward the right, but the waves were a little kind of big, kind of rolling a little. They're like maybe 2 feet. So we went to the left around the ship, and we probably went about 20 minutes kind of just going back to the backside of the island. And then he stopped there on a beach, and that's the idea. You could switch drivers if you have, two 18-year-olds on the same jet ski. And they give you a little, talking about the native turtles that are there and stuff like that. Then you get back on the way back, and the way it works is the front leader guy goes as fast as he can, and everyone else just follows him. If you're going slow, there's someone in the rear to bring up the rear, so you can go as slow as you want, as fast as you want. So me and my son were going about 50 miles an hour the whole time.
Wow. And you guys had separate jet skis, right?
No, he had to ride with me because he wasn't 18.
Okay, so that was my next question. How old do you have to be? So you have to be 18, which is kind of what you said. How old do you have to be just to go, period? Is it like about 10 or something usually?
I would say 8 or 9 or 10. I saw a son that was quite a few years younger than my son. My son's 13, so
okay. I'm
thinking maybe 9 or 10 is the magic number there.
Okay. But fun time overall?
Yeah, it was a blast. I mean, my arms were so sore trying to, hold on. My son's holding on to me. Just it was a blast.
Good to know. So book it early and book it early in the day to enjoy the jet skis, it sounds like.
Correct.
Well, besides the jet skis, what else did you guys, in the 5K, how else did you guys spend your time on Castaway Cay, besides lounging around that beautiful cabana?
That was about it, just lounging on the cabana and playing in the ocean, and that was it. Someone was in the hammock, so I was laying on a float in the ocean. The girls were taking selfies, I think, so everyone was having a good time. And
you get a fridge in there, and they stock some drinks in there, I believe?
So there's a little fridge and it has all the waters and sodas you want. And there's a basket with like granola bars and chips and stuff like that.
Okay. And then you guys still just go down to cookies for lunch.
Correct. And since it's such a short walk, we just go get it and bring it back to the cabana.
Oh, that's even better. Any other tips as far as spending time in the cabana, since you guys have done it so many times for people, as far once you're lucky enough to actually get one?
No, I mean, it's just an awesome experience. It's just the beach is so quiet there, and you have your cabana. It's just an overall great experience. It's expensive and it's hard to get, but if you enjoy that kind of thing, it's really nice.
Well, it sounds like you guys had just a great cruise. You had good weather this time, so you're able to really enjoy the cabana both times you're on board Castaway Cay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else about the cruise that kind of stood out to you this time that we could touch on today, Chris?
No, I think everything else was kind of just a normal, Disney cruise. I think it was really nice, and I had no complaints, and it was great. Okay,
so you come back from Castaway Cay, or you come back to Port Canaveral and end the cruise. How's it getting off as far as being concierge as well? Do they offer you times to get off whenever you want to, or do you have specific times, or how does that work?
So yeah, they will. What you do is the night before, I had told them we wanted to get off at 7:15, so we meet by the elevators with our luggage. We were walking our luggage off, and they use their little key card where it overrides everything, so it just goes. It takes you guys. There's us and another family. It takes us straight down, and then once you get to where you scan your Key of the World card. Once you scan your card, you go to a separate line where you eliminate a longer wait.
Okay.
Actually, where you scan your Key of the World card is a separate line. So there was a big line trying to get off the ship, and he kind of like cut us in front of some people, and they're kind of mad. He's like, telling them they're not going to be in front of you really. They're just to this point they're veering to the left, and so once you walk off the ship, you go down the gangplank into where the Key to the World card where they scan it. That's where there's no line. You do that, and then you go straight down to the queue for customs.
And from there, you guys are going on to spend some time at Disney World. You guys are DVC members like us and decided to book at...
We're at the Grand Floridian.
So how did you guys get from Cape Canaveral to the Grand Floridian then?
A private car, the same car that took us from the airport to the cruise. So she was there to pick us up at 7:30, so it worked out great.
Okay. Have you ever used like Disney's transportation back to the parks or to the resorts?
No, we haven't, because the only time I've ever used Disney transportation was a long time ago, and we were going from the airport to Disney World, and from the time I got on the bus to the time I got off the bus was like an hour and 45 minutes after stopping at multiple places, like never again.
Yeah. That's, I've heard the kind of hit or miss on that, so you guys kind of take that out. So you guys end up staying another 6 days at the Grand Floridian, and what were you guys going to hit the parks that day, or what was your kind of overall plans for your time at Disney World?
Yeah, so the first day we went straight to the resort, dropped off our luggage. We knew the room wasn't ready. And then we had fast passes for Disney Studios. So we went there, hit a few rides, and then we had lunch at Epcot. So then we did that for a late lunch and kind of just, not a real busy day that day.
Uh-huh. Do you guys have annual passes down there, or do you just buy the tickets for the time you're there?
So it fluctuates. For a while, we had the passes that worked at both coasts.
Uh-huh.
And then they expired and you can't renew those online. So that ended up with, we have annual passes for Disneyland, and then DVC had a promotion last spring for an annual pass was like $100 and some off. So I did the math and that ended up working out for us. Yeah. So we ended up getting those.
Yeah, you were smart to jump on those because I waited. And, yeah, after those expired, it kind of went up a little bit. So good on you for jumping on those when you did.
So if I would have bought the 6-day park hoppers, would have been a few dollars more than the passes we got with the DVC discount.
Yeah. So are you planning on going back? Are you guys going back again this year?
We're going for 1 day when we do the New York cruise. We'll be there the day before Thanksgiving.
Okay. Well, awesome. So you guys spend the first day there, and I know we were talking ahead of time before the show that you guys did a couple VIP tours, and I thought it'd be fun to talk about that. Where did you do them at Disney World before we talk about your time at Universal?
So on the Tuesday of the trip, we did a VIP tour at Disney World. The guide picks us up at the resort. They send a car to pick you up, wherever you want to get picked up, wherever you're staying or what you're doing. They pick us up. And from there, it's like, where do you want to go? So we started that day at Epcot. So when you take the VIP tour, you park in like backstage areas. So like at Epcot, you park under Test Track. Oh. And they take you in a back door and you go straight to the rides real quick. So you're saving a lot of time there. And then at some point they have like a handheld Magic Band reader that they scan. At each park they got to scan you in, but it's at Disney Studios, for example, you park behind Rock and Roller Coaster and there's a VIP guide there waiting with a hand scanner, scans your tickets, gives you a bottle of water, and you guys go in the park and you come out right there at Rock and Roller Coaster. So
as far as like what you want to do for the day, do you do that ahead of time? Is like once you book the tour, kind of tell them, hey, these are the things that we want to do? Or is it more, I suppose you could probably do it either way, or is it more kind of like the day of, you tell them, hey, these are the things that we want to do? So
you can do it either way. Okay. And so if you have smaller kids, a lot of people with smaller kids, we want to do this parade at 3:00. We want to eat lunch here. We're kind of like, pick us up here, and we want to hit all the big rides as fast as we can. So that's kind of so they know where to pick us up and kind of an idea where we're going to go, and that's what we usually do.
Okay. And did you eat anywhere along the way too, or were you guys just spending most of the time just doing the rides?
So we stop and ate lunch at Animal Kingdom in the canteen there at the Pandora.
Okay. And
I can't think of the name right now, but
it's slipping my mind too. But so you don't need reservations there, but do they kind of get you to the front of the line for that type of stuff, or did you do the online ordering, or how did that work?
No, there was no line at all. So we kind of I wanted to do the online ordering because I'm always prepared and stuff. But with the kids, it's better if they hand you that little laminated menus and them to look at for a second, and they kind of figure out what they want. So we just did that.
Okay.
If we wanted to go to like a table service restaurant, and we didn't have reservations, they try to get you in. They've done it in the past for us. One year, me and my son went to Skipper Canteen, and the girls went to Cinderella's Royal Table or whatever it's called.
Okay, and so then they try and get your reservations there or get you into there?
Correct.
Okay, if you don't set it up with them ahead of time. Well, that's how was Skipper Canteen? Did you like that?
We enjoyed it a lot. but they changed the menu since we went, so I don't know what it's like now.
Okay, yeah, I've heard that too. So, well, anything stand out special on this VIP tour that you guys took, or any favorites from it?
It's just if you want to ride a lot of rides and kind of go to fast pace, you can get a lot done. And I like see how things work. So like in Animal Kingdom, you park behind Dinosaur and you go up about 4 flights of stairs, in the back of the show building. And on that one, you come out in the gift shop and then you take another door and you come out right to the loading area. Most of the rides on VIP tour, you go through the standard queue, but on a couple of the rides, you get like a shortcut.
Okay, so it's kind of cool to be able to see those backstage areas and some of that aspects of the park as well.
Correct. And so then also at Animal Kingdom, you park behind Pandora too if you're going to there, and you come out where the bathrooms are. There's like a little path. All of a sudden you pop out and you're in there.
I'm sure you guys did Flight of Passage, right?
Yeah, we did it a couple times.
Yeah, how was that, dude? I've not been on that yet.
It's a really fun ride. We did it last year also, and the kids, that's one ride that everyone likes.
Everybody can agree on that one, huh?
Correct.
What's your favorite ride?
Actually, at Animal Kingdom, I think Expedition Everest is still my favorite ride, then Flight of Passage.
Okay. What about just overall down at Walt Disney World? Do you have a favorite ride?
I think Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yeah, that's a cool ride.
I love that ride. So we probably went on this trip probably 5 or 6 times.
I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do. There's a lot of speculation about Aerosmith maybe, kind of going away, and then how do they retheme it or what do they do with it? But that's a really neat ride. So I'd love to.
If you look at the merchandise they sell, a lot of the merchandise has Mickey on it now. Not so much Aerosmith anymore. It's like Mickey's Rock and Roller Coaster, Mickey's something.
Okay, so maybe it's already starting to head that way, huh?
I think so.
Okay. Well, I thought it would also be fun because you guys, besides spending time at Walt Disney World, went over to SeaWorld, and then you also went to Universal. Well, let's talk about SeaWorld first. Anything stand out from you? You said you hadn't been there for quite a while, as we were talking beforehand.
Yeah, I haven't been there for 20 years. So last time we were there, I think the newest ride was the Journey to Atlantis. So I think one of the roller coasters might have been there. So I know Mako wasn't there, and the other big roller coaster wasn't there. So we got to ride those, and they were a blast.
Now, is Mako the one that they added the VR to it?
No, that's Kraken, and my son wanted to do the VR, but I think they're only doing it like on Saturdays or Sundays or something right now.
Oh, so
all the headsets and everything were there, but they weren't doing it.
I wonder if it's a maintenance thing or what. Well, that's too bad.
I think it has something to do with it just so slow loading that they're only doing it certain days.
Oh, I see what you mean. So it kind of slows down getting people on the ride, so they only do it certain days. Gotcha. Did you see any of the shows there? Do they still have? I don't want to get into the controversial thing, but do they still have the Killer Whale show there?
They do, and that's one of the reasons why we went on this trip. I told my daughter didn't want to go. I'm like, stop believing everything you hear. You got to see this show before you can never see it again. Mm-hmm. And so we went to the Shamu show, and they've really kind of changed it and kind of toned it down, but it's still, I mean, it's incredible to see this, 15,000-pound animal jump out of the water.
Yeah, they're amazing creatures, aren't they?
It is. It's really amazing.
Did you see any of the other shows there, or did you kind of concentrate on the rides this time too?
We did a behind-the-scenes animal, like exotic animal, where they brought out a possum, which I don't know how it fits in the SeaWorld. It's not really exotic, but so it was really neat to see a possum that wasn't like a vicious rodent. He was just a friendly little guy.
Yeah.
And they brought out a couple birds, and then they brought out a bald eagle, which was really neat.
Oh, wow. That would be neat to see. Was this a private one, or was this an actual show?
It was a private one, but I think it was $15 a person or something, and it lasted about a half an hour.
Okay. Did you get to interact with the animals at all, or?
So you got to pet and touch all the animals except for the eagle, and you got to take pictures with them all. But with the eagle's on the one side of the trainer, and you're on the other side of the trainer.
Okay. They're fierce birds, so.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, anything else stand out at SeaWorld before we jump over to Universal?
We had fun there. It's not quite, Disneyland, Disney World, or Universal as in loading the rides and stuff like that. But we had a good time. We're probably going to go back next time we go too. Okay.
Have you been to the one in San Diego recently at all, or?
My kids and my wife went a few years ago, but I haven't been recently.
Okay. Did they say anything as far as between how they compared it all? I've always just been kind of curious. Are they similar parks, or?
My son remembered the Atlantis ride, which is a water ride. He remembered that. And that's about the only thing he said.
Okay. Well, let's. How did you guys get over from the Grand Floridian over to SeaWorld, and then also your time at Universal? Did you guys take another private car, or how?
Yeah, the same driver that took us everywhere else took us there.
Okay, that's perfect having him.
So it's pretty easy.
Yeah, just let him know what your schedule is, and he's there for you. That's awesome. So let's talk about Universal. You guys have been there before several times?
Yeah, the last 3 or 4 years we've been going, spending one day at Universal. Like last year we actually spent 2 days there and did Volcano Bay. But yeah, we've been there several times in the last few years.
Okay, and you guys did another private tour at Universal. How does that compare to like Disney's private tours? Is it kind of the same thing where you've got a guide that's going to get you kind of fast passes onto the lines, or do they do more, or what do they do that's different, if there's anything different between Disney and Universal?
So it's a very similar tour. The idea is like with Disney, theirs is, any ride that has a fast pass, you go straight to the fast pass queue. If it doesn't, they have some other kind of arrangements. Universal, they use the express pass queue, or if there's a shorter route, they use that. They take you through a lot of side doors, backstage areas, and it has a couple of neat things where they'll take you. They kind of ask you what you like, and I say, I like to see behind-the-scenes stuff. So we've actually been in the Mummy roller coaster show building while the ride was operating. We were underneath the ride.
Wow.
And that was really neat. And then last year, he took me into the Spider-Man maintenance building, and they brought one of the vehicles over, and they had a maintenance guy there, and he put it into operation mode. So we watched in like 5 minutes the ride vehicle going up and down, doing all the stuff that we'd be doing in the ride. But they don't let you take any pictures, so that's the bummer part. But it's neat to see I love to see behind the scenes stuff.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, we did. We got stuck on Small World last October, when we were in Disneyland with some friends, and they had to evacuate the ride. That's the only time I've ever been kind of behind the scenes. But it was cool because I didn't even realize that the water in Small World in Disneyland, you are actually up above, and there's walkways down below it. And so the chute itself is actually just kind of suspended in the air.
Suspended, yeah.
Yeah. So have you been?
I've seen it kind of like a log flume ride that's suspended up in the air at any other park.
Okay. Have you been behind the scenes there too, or?
I've seen something there. We got stuck on that one too, and they're almost were going to evacuate us, or not evacuate, but take you off, and they finally got it going.
Okay. Yeah. So they evacuated us. And so you get to go underneath there, and then we walked by, and I've got a couple pictures of it. I snapped it quick with my phone. I don't know if anybody was paying attention or not, but they've got like a big, I want to call it a lake, but it's really just a big pool where where they keep all the boats, and that was kind of cool. And then they also had a couple of the old signs from that they used to have up in front of Small World, so that was kind of neat to see as well. So,
and Splash Mountain will have a big. Basically, it's a reservoir, basically, but it's just a big cement pit that's like 50 feet deep. Uh-huh. So at the end of the day, it fills up with water, and when it's running, it's only got like 5 feet of water in it.
Oh, okay. So you've seen that too. Any other cool things? Have you been behind any of the Harry Potter stuff there?
Not so much in the show build or anything, but he took us through a bunch of side corridors, and we were leaving. We got off the train. We just came from Hogsmeade, and we're going to the Diagon Alley. And we're running late in the day, and we wanted to get a bunch of stuff done. He's like, you guys have seen the grand entrance. You know what it is. So we popped out a side door, walked 10 feet, walked into another door, and walked about 15 feet, and we're in the load platform of the ride. So we were in and out of that ride in about 7 minutes and off to the next ride. And then in Men in Black, they'll take you down into, I can't think of the name now, the room that's in the center where the aliens are. Mm-hmm. It's when you're in the queue for the ride, you're looking down on the room down there, like the headquarters room. Mm-hmm. You can go in there, and there's like a guest book you can sign.
Oh, you're a guest of the aliens there for the Men in Black. That's kind of cool. What's the coolest thing you've seen?
I think it was really neat to be in the Mummy when it was running, and you're in a spot that's right underneath, at the end of the ride where Brendan Fraser's doing the end of the ride movie thing.
Oh, that's pretty cool. What are your overall thoughts on Universal, I guess?
Now that my kids are older, being 13 and 16 and huge Harry Potter fans, they love it. And I love, the Hulk is like my favorite roller coaster. And my kids had never been on the water rides there. We always kind of walked by them fast because I knew you didn't get wet. You get completely soaked. Mm-hmm. But this year we rode the Popeyes, I think, Bilge Rats barges or something. And, and the other one. And I mean, you are completely soaked. My son thought that was his most favorite experience of the whole trip this year.
Oh, man. Have you thought about spending time at Universal, staying in the resorts there? Have you looked into that yet?
So we did that last year. Last year we did Disney. the cruise and came back for 2 days at Universal. And we had a good time because we wanted to go to Volcano Bay. It was the first couple weeks had been open, and we had a blast there. But it's not quite the same as Disney. I don't know.
Not quite the just the feel overall.
Yeah, but it's the city walk's fun, and we stayed at the I can't think of the name of the hotel in the Portofino. So you take the little boats over, and that was fun. But we were there. It was such a quick trip too. We didn't enjoy anything. We got there off the ship, got there at 10 o'clock or so, did a VIP tour that day. Next day was Volcano Bay all day, and then we went home.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of a whirlwind, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anything else stand out at your 6 days at Disney World? Anything special that you want to talk about or that you hadn't experienced before?
No, I think we hit a lot of rides, went to a lot of nice dinners, and we just had a great family vacation.
Well, it sounds like just another wonderful vacation for you and your family. So, what's next for you guys?
We're doing New York for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And then for spring break, we're doing Miami on the Magic, going to Cozumel and Castaway. And then next summer is the Mediterranean. So we got quite a bit of stuff lined up.
So you guys got New York, and that's going to be pretty exciting. Are you guys excited about that one?
So, yeah, we just actually booked to see Frozen on Broadway the night before the cruise. So kids are excited about that. We're going to spend about a day and a half in New York before the actual cruise.
Have you been there before?
We've never been to New York.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to be complete tourists like you've never seen.
Oh, man. Yeah, my wife and I were just there on a layover, and that's a great city. I haven't done a lot of the real cool touristy stuff, though, yet either. I haven't been down to the Statue of Liberty before and whatnot, so I'm not sure what all you guys have planned, but that should be a really good time.
So we plan on hitting Statue of Liberty, the World Trade Center Memorial, Wall Street, Central Park, Grand Central Station. Empire State Building. We plan on doing everything in a day.
Oh, man, you're going to need a VIP tour there, too. So I think I texted you a picture with Disney Cruise Line and the advertisement there in Times Square. And
yeah, you did. I was laughing when I saw that.
Yeah, I think that would be cool to be on board the Magic as you go sailing by the Statue of Liberty. What a kind of special way to leave and come back. So
no, we're excited about that, but I realized I booked our stateroom on the wrong side, so we'll have to be up on the top of the deck to just see it. So but that's fine.
Well, what a great sight as you finish up the sail away party and you guys head out on your cruise from New York. So well, thanks again, Chris, for coming on. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show, and you provide a lot of good tips and information since you guys have been on so many different cruises, and I know our listeners really appreciate it.
No problem. I really enjoyed talking.
Yeah, all right. Well, thanks again for coming on, Chris, and we look forward to hearing from you when you get back from your cruise from New York.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Oh, thank you.
Bye. Well, that's going to wrap up our show today. Once again, I really want to thank Chris for coming on and sharing his and his family's experiences. They did just one of those magical cruises, a double dip on the Disney Dream down there to Castaway Cay. I think all of us would love to go on a cruise like that someday. And then to top it off with a couple VIP tours, not only at Walt Disney World, but down at Universal. Just another amazing vacation. And once again, Christy and I would like to thank each and every one of you for coming back and enjoying the show and listening to the show each week. If you know somebody else out there who would enjoy the show, we sure would appreciate it if you pass it on to them. Also, if you have time to go over to iTunes and leave us a review, we sure would appreciate that as well. It helps us get the word out in the podcast community and also in the Disney and cruising community for others. It helps us grow the show and get noticed out there. So we really appreciate all of you who've gone out there and taken the time to do that. So between now and our next show, if you're heading out on your next trip, all of us here at the DCL Podcast would like to wish you fair winds and safe travels as you head out on your next vacation. Once again, thanks for coming back and taking a listen, and we'll see you next time on the DCL Podcast.